Assalamu alaikum, dear students. It is good to see you again. Thank you so much for carrying out your own lessons. Let's talk about today's objectives that you will follow in this video. In this video, we will talk about energy itself and also about the cell and connection of energy and cell. So, through these objectives, we will study about photosynthesis, factors of photosynthesis, and importance of photosynthesis. Let's talk about it in more details. First, we will study about energy. As we know, energy can be defined as the capacity to do work. Which kind of work? Which kind of energy? If you open your eyes, you can find it inside yourself and outside of yourself. For example, the electricity, the solar, the plants, chemicals that are going to be produced to wind energy, which are going to be exchanged into different forms of another energies. So the entire humanity or the earth is composed with different forms of energy. About energy, we can say that at first stage, when the lights are emitted with the sun, inside the sun, this is the helium and hydrogen elements that are going to be fused together to form the heat energy and the light energy. And then this is the earth that receive the different quantities of the light rays energy that are going to be next exchanged into another chemical energies. For example, the photosynthesis product the sugars, different type of feeding materials that we eat. Also and different type of another chemicals like lipids, proteins, and also carbohydrates that you can find inside the animal cells and also plant cells. So energy can be defined as the capacity to do work, and also examples could be as heat energy that are emitted from the sun, also electricals that are produced with different machineries, the chemicals that are going to be produced through different reactions of photosynthesis, and mechanical and radiant or solar energy. Yes, now we study about photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a split word. It means if we want to define photosynthesis, we can divide it into two words, photo and synthesis. It means the synthesis of the sunlight rays. In definition of the photosynthesis, we can say that the production of food and oxygen by absorbing sunlight using carbon dioxide and water as raw materials. This is the exact definition and function of photosynthesis. And the photosynthesis is carried out by the plant. Inside the plant, you can see different structures that are acting like combined units of one important fabrica that produces different important materials. For example, when the sun emits its rays, then it is absorbed by leaf of the plant, and it is combined with water and minerals which are absorbed by the root of the plant. Inside the leaf, an important reaction happens that is called photosynthesis. Then these three raw materials, the carbon dioxide gas, also water and minerals, and sunlight, is exchanged into fruits that we eat. Also, about photosynthesis, we can say that they produce important thing that is called oxygen. It means the result of photosynthesis is food and oxygen. Photosynthesis happens in two different reactions. First, light phase or light dependent reaction. Second, dark phase or light independent reaction. We also can categorize the light reaction into cyclic phosphorylation and non-cyclic phosphorylation, that they will produce different type of energies that are going to be used in the next phase of photosynthesis. It means inside the cyclic phosphorylation, two ATP molecules are produced. In non-cyclic phosphorylation, one ATP and two NADPH is produced. What is ATP and what is NADPH? ATP is the energy currency which is needed to carry out different functions by the cells. So it is called adenosine triphosphate. The NADPH could be abbreviated and say like this, that it is nicotinamide dinucleotide adenine phosphate hydrogen. This is the electron carrier. We will talk in details about these things. And dark reaction. So during light reaction, sunlight energy or radiant energy which were emitted from the sun is received, and it is converted into a chemical energy, and it is stored as a ATP. So mainly we can say that during photosynthesis reaction and light phase, the radiant energy is converted into ATP. What is ATP? ATP is adenosine triphosphate, which is called energy currency. Why? Because it is needed in order to carry out different metabolic functions of the cell. In dark reaction, we will study that it is a kind of reaction in which carbon dioxide molecules are going to be exchanged or converted into organic molecules such as glucose using the energy of ATP and NADPH, which were produced in light reaction. So the result of dark reaction could be thought that it is in a series of complex reaction. Glucose, fructose, saccharose and vitamins are going to be produced inside the dark reaction. So any kind of feeding material that we possess, that is the result of dark reaction. So in order to explain what happens inside a dark reaction, we should know about the Calvin cycle. And the Calvin cycle itself could be divided into 4 steps. First, carbon fixation. Second, reduction phase. Third, carbohydrate formation. And fourth, and the final stage is regeneration. In first step, we can say that this is the starting point where Robesco, which is an enzyme, initiator enzyme, that helps the carbon dioxide to mix with RUBP or ribulose biphosphate, which is the kind of sugar that possesses only 5 carbons. So when another carbon from carbon dioxide is attached with the RUBP, so it quickly splits into another 2 molecules which possess 3 carbon molecules. They are called PGA. PGA are called phosphoglycerates. Then this is the phosphoglycerates which enter the second phase, that is called reduction phase. The PGA is converted into G3P or glycerate triphosphate. Glyceryl aldehyde triphosphates after receiving ATP energy and not pH, which carries a hydrogen electron and fix it into G3Ps, then the carbohydrates is going to be formed. So G3P turn into carbohydrates or sugars. The third step is carbohydrate formation. So this is a continuous cycle. When the sugar is produced, it will not end like this because the Calvin cycle happens inside the stroma of the plant cell. So a continuous production of the food is necessary. In order to carry out the Calvin cycle continuously, another part of the Calvin cycle happens that is called regeneration phase. In regeneration phase, G3P will attach with the help of ATP to make RUBPs, and then it is the RUBP or ribulose phosphates that will starts again the Calvin cycle. Now we reach those factors that affect the photosynthesis rate. It means during the photosynthesis, these factors will affect the rate of production. The carbon dioxide concentration, it means there is more carbon dioxide, so there will be more raw materials to produce and more sugars or energies. Light intensity, it is also affected by the leaves. When leaves are exposed into sunlight, they will carry out more photosynthesis, so the result is in more products. Temperature also affects the rate of photosynthesis. It means when the temperature gets high, the water that is absorbed from the roots, it will evaporate through the water vapors, and it causes the photosynthesis rate to decrease. Water is specialized for photosynthesis. It means it has different functions. As we know, it is made up of the hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen is used as a source of energy or electron carrier, then which it is used inside the dark reaction of photosynthesis that will be stored inside the different steps of the Calvin cycle, and at the final the result is this, that it will produce the sugars. Also, the structure of the leaf. According to the structure of leaves, we possess different type of plants that are in homeostasis with the different environments, or they possess different structures. For example, these tomatoes, maybe they are closed or maybe they were opened, so the opening and closing of tomato also affect the factors of the photosynthesis rate. These were the factors that affected photosynthesis rate. So about the importance of photosynthesis, we can say that photosynthesis is really important in all leaves life cycle. For example, we obtain food, so this is the result of photosynthesis that acts like a food producer. Also, we need oxygen, so photosynthesis produces the oxygen, and the final one, an important one, it acts like a filter that takes carbon dioxide. So importance of the photosynthesis are food production, oxygen production, and also a filtering of different toxic gases. Thanks so much, dear students. I hope you find pretty well this video, and I am waiting for your questions. If you have any difficulty, please inform us. Thank you so much. See you on next video.